I'd like to talk a little bit more about what recovery from narcissism feels like from a recovering narcissist. Now, recovering narcissist also mainly a recovering alcoholic, recovering addict. And that is actually how, by the grace of my higher power, I was able to find recovery and relief from my narcissism. I really consider myself to have been a full-blown NPD. And, you know, there's a lot of, and when you talk about, and something I'm going to talk about is resentments. A lot of us addicts, alcoholics, narcissists suffer from resentments. We have a chip on our shoulder against the whole world, and you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of the same thing in people who have suffered, in survivors, and I respect you. I've been hurt by narcissists myself, by extremely selfish behavior myself, but you have to learn eventually to drop that resentment. That anger is going to eat you up. It's going to chew you up inside and lead to a life of fear and anger. And that's just, I'm speaking from experience here, but we'll talk about that in a later video. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about what recovery feels like from a narcissist in recovery. I'm going to give you an example of what 12-step recovery can do. Now, I'm lucky to have found this through alcoholism. There's a lot of other 12-step recoveries out there, and you can do research about 12-step recovery, how it works, why the extreme level of humility that it forces you to live with can really break you down, you know, and it hurts. It breaks down that ego, breaks down that selfishness. It takes some time, but man, it breaks you down and it crushes you. It crushes that ego down day by day, week by week, month by month, and forces you to live a different way. And I want to go over a prayer here. It was actually for January 10th, so just a couple days ago. This is January 12th. January 10th, this prayer was in one of my 12-step recovery meditation books, 24 hours a day. Really, really good. Now, it is God-based. If you're not a Christian, there's plenty of other secular ones that also like use the higher power verbiage, which I would recommend those for you then as well. But check this out. I thought this was really cool. Just the power that we work with here. I think, side note, I don't think people understand. They think that when I say 12 steps, no, because the main tenet of 12 steps is accepting life on life's terms. You know, living life on life's terms, accepting life for what it is. All I have is 24 hours. I have to work for everything I got. All I can control is my daily actions. I can't even control my thoughts. Those narcissistic thoughts are still going to come in my head. I'm better than him. Fuck them. Fuck this. I don't deserve this. I'm better than this. I should have everything I want. I shouldn't have to work for anything. But after you've had a collapse, either a narc collapse or a bottom, or you've just bottomed out so many times in life and you finally give up, you finally surrender, wave that white flag. I need help. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to not do this to myself or to other people I love anymore. Now, some people never get there, okay? But if you are lucky enough to have that bottom, then 12-step recovery forces you to live life on life's terms. It really does. And okay, well, that makes sense. You know, I get it. All I'm in control of is my actions, and people kind of brush it off. You don't understand the level of humility it takes to actually live and think this way every single day, all day. You know, you say these key phrases that I'll tell you about in the back of your mind, under your breath, all day long. Every night you get on your knees and thank the universe, higher power, God, whatever you say, for just letting you be alive that day, for keeping you sober that day, for letting you behave like a good person that day, and hopefully you can do the same thing the next. There's an extreme level of humility that, I mean, literally one of my, sometimes I just say, you know, thank you, God, for giving me 10 fingers, 10 toes, air to breathe, eyes to see. You know, just thanks for that. Thanks for just letting me not drink and be an asshole today. Thanks. You know, thanks for just letting me sleep in this bed. It's extremely unlike the life I lived before, where all I wanted to do was rampage, use, abuse, take hostages, steal, get everything I could as easy as possible from life 24/7, 365 for eternity. I wanted to live in the bar. I wanted to live for the women. I wanted to live for the fast money. I wanted to live for those fantasies of power and grandiosity and getting vengeance on everyone and proving everyone wrong and pushing my success in everyone's face while I sat on the bar stool or while I just did things I was not proud of all the time. And it was a fucking just miserable life. So side note, if you think the narcissist is happy, they're not. Inside, I was literally dead. It was a horrible life. So let's get back to this prayer, okay? I want to show this to you. So 24 hours a day. This is that book, the meditation book I talked about, January 10th, just a couple days ago. Now, this is AA, but I'm going to substitute here, okay? So I'm going to substitute words like narcissism, like selfishness. Let's try this. When we were selfish, when we were narcissists, most of us were full of pride and selfishness. We believed we could handle our own affairs, even though we were making a mess of our lives. We were very stubborn and didn't like to take advice. We resented being told what to do. To us, humility looked like weakness. But when we came into this program of recovery, we began to be humble. We found that humility gave us the power we needed to overcome our ego, our narcissism. Have I learned that there is power in humility? I will come to my higher power, or God, in faith, and he will give me a new way of life. The new way of life will alter my whole existence. The words I speak, the influence I have, they will spring from the life within me. I see how important is the work of a person who has this new way of life. The words and example of such a person can have a whole influence for good in the world. I pray that I may learn the principles of the good life. I pray that I may meditate upon them and work at them because they are eternal. So, man, this is deep stuff. This is really deep stuff to me. I don't know if you can see that, but... And for that one there's thousands of others of meditations and readings just like that in programs of recovery. So it's extremely, like, we don't just come into recovery to stop our codependency, to stop our drinking. I think everyone in the world needs a 12-step program of recovery. It's a design for living. It's a design for life. That's the key thing you have to understand. And people say, well, the narcissist has no soul. They have no heart. How can they learn recovery? And it's like, recovery teaches you how to live. It teaches you how to have a soul. It teaches you how to behave like a good human being. And that's the freaking point. So you can be taught. A narcissist does not know that, right? A true narcissist, a full NPD. Selfishness to the extreme. Self-will run riot. That's actually from AA. Self-will, selfishness to the extreme, right? A tornado roaring through the lives of others. They need a design for living. 12-step recovery can teach somebody that. So I just want to give an example of what a life in recovery looks like. What are some other things I do? As soon as I get up in the day, literally the first thoughts that are running through my head are God, and you can substitute the words God for higher power, universe, Gaia, Mother Earth, whatever you want to say. God, please divorce me, keep me divorced from self-pity, dishonesty, self-will, self-seeking, from fear. Show me how I can help another person today. Thy will be done, not my own. Universe, fate, whatever it is, your will be done, not mine. Whatever I want probably isn't good for me. My best thinking got me to hit bottom. My best thinking lost me people I love. My best thinking made me miserable. My best thinking turned me into an alcoholic, made me behave like a freaking narcissist a-hole. So I trust that as long as I'm trying to do the best I can and treat people well and be loving and kind and tolerant to all, that whatever happens is for my good. It's supposed to happen. It's gonna happen. I can't control it. All I can control is what I do. So, universe, your will be done, not mine. All I can do is control my actions today. I can't even control my freaking thoughts, and that sucks because sometimes I have some horrible thoughts that pop in my head. I always will, probably, right? Because ever since I was a kid, I thought selfishly. I felt like everyone was judging me all the time because of low self-esteem, and I had to turn that around into, well, I'm better than everyone else. Flip you. I'm going to take over the world, and there's a lot more to it, but so my thoughts can be very selfish still. My first thought's always me, 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 and that's kind of natural, but I think in a narcissist or someone with narcissistic traits, it's to the extreme. Recovery can teach you to stop that. I stop that and I say, okay, this thinking's not good for me. This thinking's not good for my life. Thy will be done. Universe, your will be done. God, your will be done, not my own. Relieve me from the bondage of self. Relieve me from this prison of self. Help me to help someone else. Help me to think of someone else. Who can I text today? And just a guy, not a side piece, not a hookup, a fellow guy or a friend. Can I check in on them, see how their day's going? Can I listen? Can I see if I can make them feel better? Can I catch up with them? Let me call my mom and my sister, see how they're doing today. How can I give back? How can I do good for someone else? Or what can I do in my life that's going to genuinely get me ahead and make me a better person for the people I love? Can I go to the gym and get healthy? Can I eat something healthy? Not because I want to take over the world and be respected and revered and all these other things, but because that's a sign of love. Loving myself and, taking care of myself makes my daughters happy, can make my parents happy, can create a better life for me instead of just wishing and waiting and feeling entitled. So I like to do real work today. I'll take my job seriously. I'll try to take my health seriously, not for vain reasons, but because that's what living a good life looks like. And sometimes I still want to tell people off, or I want to let's just say go sleep with some random woman or something. But I don't do that, even though it would feel good sometimes, because that, in my mind, what I've learned in recovery, that's not living a good life. It's not. I just don't see myself. It's like the jig is up. I can't do those things. I can't use people anymore. I can't. And I kind of, sometimes I like to say the ignorance was bliss. The ignorance of a narcissist or an addict can be bliss because your ways work when they do. But when they don't, when you see the destruction you've caused, when you finally wake up to it and you understand what you've done, and recovery, going into this shows you what you're doing, it wakes you up to it, you're never the same. You're never the same. You're never the same. So I hope the person that you're searching for, either be yourself or a loved one or a old flame or an ex you despise, I know how it is. I hope that this helps. I just wanted to show you about what a life in recovery, some of the principles we follow, and I really want to relay to you the impact of how deep this recovery crap goes. And I'm only 3-4 years into this. There's guys who've been doing what I'm talking about 10, 20, 30, 40 plus years. So these guys like walk on water, right? They do, actually. I've seen people and heard of other people and seen people speaking on stage about this kind of stuff, about spirituality, about recovery, about loving God, about loving others, about helping others, about living a new life, and they're dying of cancer. They're going to be dead in 3-4 months, and you only found out after. You never knew. You couldn't tell. These guys were on cloud 9, and that's what I want in my life. That's what I'm after, and that's part of the reason why I make these videos. I see a lot of hate and anger about narcissism, about narcissists, about NPD. They could never recover. They're just a wellspring of evil and hatred and blah, 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 blah. And I feel you, but we got to keep hope, guys, and we got to keep working. And if you've been the victim of narc abuse, a victim of a narcissist, I'm so sorry, but you also have to take a page from the program of recovery. It doesn't mean you forget. It does not mean you reconcile, but you forgive so you can let it go, so you stop drinking that poison. You forgive, which means you do your best to let it go from you sweep it off of your side of the street and hit it back into the universe, okay? And you let the universe take care of it, all right? You don't forget. You're never going to forget what someone like this did to you or what happened. You're not going to reconcile. You're not, hugging them and saying it's okay. You're forgiving. You're letting it go because you know that they're messed up and they're going to keep doing it to themselves and to other people, and God, universe, bless them and heal you. That's one of my prayers. I say, someone did something really crappy to me recently, and I say, you know what? Bless them, heal me, bless them, change me, bless them, keep working on me. Please give them health, happiness, and prosperity. Give it to them, heal them, and bless me and heal me and change me. Okay, so you got to untangle yourself from this person and forgive, let it go. That's all I got to say about that. Now, this video turned really rambling. Thanks so much for your time. Again, that prayer is really cool. So if you're curious, look into more books like this. This is 24 hours a day. Oop. Yeah. Now, again, this is God, a lot of God in here. But there's all sorts of secular books. If you find this kind of on Amazon, you can find other ones that are, similar, that are secular, that, aren't God. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.